Let's look at what is due the first week of September for English 102 in fall 2023. So we are on schedule so far. I have a small adjustment to make for next week, but we can worry about that next week, I suppose. But Tuesday you have more reading to do in Frankenstein just to keep up with a good pace for reading in time to finish for your research paper and midterm. Also, I would like you to read the introduction to the Norton Introduction to Literature, pages 1 through 9, and then you have a quiz on the characters in Frankenstein. Most of it is a fill-in-the-blank format, and you must spell the names correctly and capitalize correctly. Then on Thursday, September 7th, or by Thursday, September 7th, you should have read the next section of Frankenstein, and you have a discussion to do. I've put a sample here of what I expect in your discussion post. My sample is color-coded. In the video, I explain what the colors are doing, but you don't have to use colors in yours. So to find the discussion, just click on Discussions. To find the content I want you to use as a secondary source, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs information, just click on Module 3 and then click on Secondary Sources for Frankenstein. And then the top one is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you click that and you can see the different sources I have given you there. You can use any of these as your source for this assignment. So to find the discussion itself, click on Discussions. And as I've said before, this discussion format is a new bit of software. So I'm still a little nervous about using it because I haven't used it before. I believe I have put you all in small groups of 5 or 6. And so I would like you to each hopefully get comments on your writing so that you can sort of peer review and help each other think of more ideas that you might use in case you decide to use Maslow's hierarchy of needs as your focus for analyzing Frankenstein. Or even one of the needs is about friendship. So my sample, I even wrote about friendship. And so that could kind of spill over into a focus on friendship. So this one kind of has 2 layers. But you don't have to focus on friendship. In fact, since I already did, you might focus on something else. Or I focused on Walton in my sample. So you might focus on Victor or the creature, or any of the other characters. So that would be a fruitful way to bring in new content to the discussion. So here is the hierarchy of needs handout, but I also have posted it in the access to the discussion. So click on that access, and then you will see me going over in probably way too much detail how to do the discussion in a couple of videos. So I'm showing you how to find quotations to use because you will quote from the novel Frankenstein and from one of the secondary sources from Maslow's hierarchy of needs that I have provided for you in the course content. So take a look at that one just to find your sources you're going to use. I always start body paragraphs that way. I find my sources first. Usually I find I will have read the primary source, but I really look for something from secondary sources that reminds me of something I've read in the primary source, and I use the quotation from the secondary source that reminds me of the primary source in some way to make the point, use textual evidence, and find the quotations that are relevant to each other. So this video explains how to organize your paragraphs using both a primary source and a secondary source. It even demonstrates how to quote from the novel versus how to quote from the secondary source, how to use a standard quotation versus how to use a blocked quotation. So lots of reminders in there about MLA format. Again, the hierarchy of needs handout is in here. My sample paragraph is in here, hopefully. There it is. So there you go. You can see it. Oh goodness, some formatting issues happened when it changed to PDF. Formatting, it's never easy. All right. That is a nutshell of what you're doing in English 102. One thing I did not mention is that originally you were going to post your original post by September 5th and then comment on 2 or 3, I think 3 other in your small group, because you don't have to read through all 30 students. So you just have, hopefully you'll comment on everybody's, but you're required to comment on at least 3. Reading everybody else's and commenting on them will help you come up with your own ideas for what you might focus on too. So really it can help you as well as your peers when you do that. But I changed the deadline for responding to your peers to September 12th, I believe. And I'm going to find out by looking at discussions again, clicking on this. And then we can see what's due when, hopefully, right? Yeah, the 3 comments due by September 12th. Now, I have posted a sample paragraph on a Word document, but you're going to need to actually type yours into the text box because there is a word count requirement. And I don't believe that just attaching an assignment will allow the word count requirement to be met, because the software won't recognize it as words. It'll just be an attachment. So that's a downside to using this software, but I hope that you're enjoying it. It's a little more, I don't know, social media like than regular discussion boards. But I'll be curious to see what you think at the end of the semester. That's it. Email me if you have questions. You know how to contact me. You can click on instructor information on Blackboard and find my email. And I'll be looking in your discussions and see how you guys respond to each other. Please be kind and respectful and constructive and build on each other's ideas. Even if you are paired with a student who might be struggling, everybody struggles sometimes. Even advanced students have a hard time sometimes wrapping their heads around works of fiction with actual nonfiction text like we're using with Maslow. So give each other a lot of grace and space to make mistakes and be positive and give good ideas. And don't just say, this is great. Also give some constructive feedback like, have you thought of it this way? Or you could add this, because you're really working to help each other possibly build for your big paper. All right, that's all I got. Have a good weekend. Keep working on this and let me know how it's going.